All right, episode 59, Perry Punch Show with me and
What up? What
MTK.
up?
We
What
back
up?
again, 2 weeks in a row.
We back again.
Don't get used to this special treatment. I think we're gonna settle in on like a every other week with MTK, but we got him 2 weeks in a row.
Right.
Um, so there hasn't been too much crazy stuff going on. Not too many like wild headlines, but I think we got quite a bit to talk about. I sent you over the topics, so let's just start with 324.
All right.
Gaethje demolishes Paddy. Not sure we saw that one coming.
No.
But it was a great fight, although
It was a really good fight.
just like a street brawl, right? Not too much technique,
Yeah.
but it was a solid fight.
Well, you know what I thought too was like a lot of times when you see two fighters at such a high level, you kind of almost get a boring fight.
Yeah.
Let's say like if that was the first fight on Paramount, let's say it was the Islam versus JDM. I think the just average fans were like, that was boring.
Mm-hmm.
At least the initial fans that came to watch that, they got a fight. Because there was times there that Paddy could have gave up. No one would have faulted him for it. I mean, I would have, but I'm just saying, like, he could have just gave up. He fought through some adversity, had some grit, took some shots. He looked sloppy, though.
Yeah. And I think, for me, this is where I operate because I have heard a lot of people kind of like dissing the performance and stuff. And for me, it's like, man, you go out there, you show your heart and your willpower, no matter how bad it looks. You show that you got heart. I'm gonna give you that respect at the end of the day.
Yeah. He earned my respect.
And he kept getting up countless times after getting dropped. He the eye pokes and stuff like that as well. Just dealing with it.
I was gonna say that would have been a point, right?
Yeah, I mean,
so they could have gone into the third 1-1.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Paddy would have won the fight, but
I'm not saying he would have won the fight either, but it would have made it a bit more close. But you know what? Since we're already on this eye poke topic, by the way, before we even get into the eye pokes, did you score the third and the fifth for Paddy, or how did you score it just in general, like round by round?
I'd have to go back and look at it, but at the time live, I was like 4-1 Justin.
I thought so too. I thought Paddy won the fifth.
Yeah, I would say that. And then I thought it's Justin slowed down a little bit. And then because when he was controlling the middle and jabbing, he was at point. But whenever he got pressed against the fence and he was getting caught, it was over. But I thought if they would have gave him that point reduction, which he told them that was the second time, and he actually did get him, that would have made it 3-2.
Right.
So.
And then it would have been left
a lot more interesting.
Right, and then I think the most controversial round was that third round. People aren't sure how to score that. Paddy, at the end of the round, he called it for himself. He's like, that's my round. So if it was 3-2 going into the fifth, or actually it'd be 2-2 going into the fifth, right? Paddy won the fifth. I mean, it could have swayed the judges' scorecards. Now, here's what I really want to talk about with the eye pokes and stuff. I've been on record before saying I think fighters should be suspended and fined for this kind of thing. Paddy, he went down after that second eye poke. People are calling that a drop, but if you watch the instant replay, he got eye poked. Gaethje kept pressing him, and so he went down as like a precaution of like, in my opinion at least, of like, look, I just got eye poked. The referee's not calling it. Gaethje's on my ass right now. I need to drop down to the floor and not take, more unnecessary headshots. And I think fighters should be suspended and fined. Look at Rose Namajunas, right? She got robbed. That's another story in its own right against Natalia. And I like Natalia. It's nothing against her. But I think she's very beautiful. I think she's a skilled fighter. At the same time, right?
She's hella fine.
You should be suspended and fined for what you did. And let me elaborate on this more. Why do fighters get suspended and fined for taking performance-enhancing drugs? Well, in my opinion, it's because it gives you an unfair advantage and you can cause life-altering damage in the fight. In my opinion, so does a eye poke. It gives you an advantage, and you can also inflict life-altering damage in the fight, right? Tom Aspinall's dealing with it as we speak. He's been dealing with it since November, right? Rose Namajunas just got a surgery 2 to 3 days removed after the fight. This is life-altering, damage that's been inflicted due to an illegal foul. I don't know how we can like suspend people for PEDs, but not suspend people and fine people for fouls in fights when honestly the same result is happening. I'll just finish it like I started it. If you take PEDs, right, you're getting an advantage in the fight and you have the potential to inflict life-altering damage. Same thing with eye pokes. You're getting an advantage and you're causing life-altering damage potentially. Suspend and fine them. I don't really care anymore. I'm so done with it. If they can't control it for themselves, then you get suspended and fined and figure it out eventually.
I mean, I would say this, that, the first step is like that point reduction. I mean, you're talking like 3 or 4 steps ahead.
Right.
And I thought at that time too, I was like, they should have been able to go in between the rounds and like almost flag it. Like, remember we keep talking about these like refs outside the ref?
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, we spotted this. Come on, you didn't see it? They showed it on the replay. They should have been able to spot that between the second and third round and been like, you know what? That was an eye poke. It's getting an automatic point reduction. Like, let's just start there.
Like a retroactive point deduction. If it doesn't happen in the round, it needs to be applied mid-round.
Because that was an eye poke for sure. You got to see it. And I think that's another example of Paddy earning my respect. He fought through it. He didn't complain. He kept on trying to fight through. But there has to be something done with like the automatic replay, like you can see it, like it did happen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's frustrating.
So we're almost calling for 3 things. It sounds like we're in agreement about immediate point deductions. Let's just run through it. You down for that or not?
Yeah.
First penalty.
Because that penalty is going to change the aspect of a person going in. Because if you've never had any penalties,
mm-hmm.
and now you're a fighter that has like 3 or 4 penalties with 2 losses, now your whole career's on the line. After, let's say you have 2 losses because of eye pokes, you're going to be going into that next fight like, okay, whoa, hold on. I cannot have this on my record again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So we're in agreement on that one. Immediate point deduction. And if not, then there needs to be an instant replay and it needs to be applied retroactively. The referee doesn't need to make the decision. There should be an octagon side official there, right? Who has the ability to kind of trump the referee's calls. If the referee misses it, then this, elected official is going to be like, hey, you missed this. We just looked at the instant replay. I'm making the decision. I saw the clear eye poke, my decision, point deduction, end of story. No discussion.
Right.
And then number 3, I would like to know your opinion. I mean, are you in agreement for suspending and fining fighters?
I would say this, like another layer you could add, yes and no, I guess. I could say something where like if you've been penalized in the last 2 fights for eye pokes, that third fight's a suspension. Okay. I could say something like that.
Yeah.
I can kind of meet you in the middle,
All right.
Because if you're a habitual line stepper and this keeps on happening, there has to be a suspension.
Right.
Maybe not after the first one.
I would be open, and I'll almost meet you back into the middle and say I'd be open to, okay, you get a point deduction off an eye poke in the fight off the first offense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, after that fight, you are going to get docked as a warning, meaning, look, you don't get a penalty, but this is docked on your resume, right? Kind of like a copyright strike on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
It's like you get 3 strikes, but I think in MMA, you should get 1 strike, right? You got the point taken in the fight. Now the fight's over. We're going to warn you and let you know if you do this in the next fight, you will be suspended and fined, but you aren't suspended and fined for doing it this one time. You get 1 grace period. You're saying 2 grace periods. I'm saying 1. So, whatever they want to decide on and settle on. But I believe that, after a while, at max 2, right? Now you should start getting suspended and fined, and there should be a record of this stuff. Like a documented history of like, oh no, against this fighter, I poked him, he received the warning. The next fight, he did the same thing again. Now he's been suspended and fined. If you do it again, the suspension and the fine goes up even more. Now we could see guys sitting out for years at a time if they really want to act like idiots, like they can't fix this. Fine, then sit out for a year and figure it out.
Yeah, in the NFL, it's almost like if you have like let's say a helmet to helmet hit, right? Fined, almost automatic suspension.
Mm-hmm.
Do it again. Do it again.
You're gonna find yourself in a lifetime suspension if you do it at least 3 times.
Well, yeah, they're gonna really hit your pocketbook, and they're gonna hit you with some games, and those games cost money. So, yeah, it's people are you're very aware when you're going to that next game. Like, hold on, I'm not gonna just throw my body in there like that. I'm gonna actually tackle him.
Right, and I like it. I like how they do that because the officials right now they could be like,
in the heat of the moment, it's hard to sometimes decipher all of that, but they'll actually look at it afterwards and be like, nope, you got penalized and you got suspended.
Yeah. Who's that guy? Pac-Man Jones from not the Steelers, right? The Bengals back in the day?
Yeah.
When he was getting those big hits on like AB and stuff like that. But you know how it was a documented history. Now when Pac-Man Jones was going back into the games, they were like, he's coming off a suspension. He's coming off a fine for illegally hitting AB. Right. So it's a storyline. I want the announcers to be talking about this. For example, Cyril Gane's next fight, I wish they would be talking about this, saying he's coming off a suspension. He's coming off a fine due to these eye pokes in the last fight. It just adds another layer of seriousness to the matter instead of just sweeping it under the rug. No, we're going to talk about it and address it. And there's actually a documented history in court systems where this guy has been penalized, like officially. Yeah. So that's where I'm at with it. And, hope Rose Namajunas recovers soon.
Yeah. Just on that same path, it's interesting on that fight. I think it sounds like we both think that Rose won that fight.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I believe that same thing. And it was interesting because Sean O'Malley and I felt Natalia Silva did the same thing. They dominated, I thought, the third round, but they lost the first 2 rounds. Did you think Yadong beat Sean?
It was actually like a closer fight than I think people are just like not arguing the fact that Song could have won that fight. I'm gonna give it to Sean.
Are you impressed with Sean?
No, I wasn't. I got a lot to say about that actually. Let me put it like this, just to keep it a buck with everybody. Go ahead.
This is what I was gonna say. Is like those third rounds. I was like, where was that person at the first and second round?
I hear you.
And I'm glad that Tim Welch said something to Sean for him to think I got to turn it on this third round. Because if Tim Welch would be like, oh, you're up 2-0, he would have just raced through that same third round and he probably would have lost. That saved him. That really saved him. Because he was this close of losing that fight.
I mean, he was getting taken down in the first and second rounds. The only thing that really didn't work in Song's favor is that he wasn't able to land much on Sean, aside from like leg kicks and body shots here and there. But he wasn't able to really like punch and land on Sean's head. So I think with that dominant third round, and also Song Yadong almost lost it for himself. You could see the competitive nature of him kind of like washed out of him in that third. He was almost showing everybody that he lost. And I was even saying the damage he was showing on his face after the third round, it wasn't an indication of how the fight really went. If someone just watched the end of the fight and they're like, damn, Sean really fucked up Song Yadong, it's not really the case. Yeah. I wanted to rewatch the fight. This is what I was going to say to keep it honest with everyone watching. I was going back to rewatch the fight, but I couldn't access anything but the highlights. But I was trying to go back and rewatch it because I felt like it was a lot closer in real time than, how people are making it out to be. And especially because now Sean thinks he can call for a title shot. So this is also what I want to get into. Sean wants to call for a title shot coming off this win over Song Yadong. I mean, Umar, right, is probably going to be in some type of conversation for a title shot. He's at least got 2 wins coming off of his title loss, right? Sean only got 1 win off back-to-back losses to Merab. And so what I'm just going to try to get to right now is just let you know that I think O'Malley and Umar need to fight each other. Cut the bullshit, bro. Cut the bullshit. We don't got much to talk about coming off these fights because they're not very good fights, if I can just say that. It
wasn't impressive.
And there's nothing to really catapult these guys to the next level because who the fuck did you beat?
Yeah.
If Umar or Sean beat each other, right? If Sean got a win over Umar, bro, we would be clamoring. We'd be like, bro, throw him up in that title fight. He's ready. He just beat the guy that Merab beat. Like, throw him back in there. He's made improvements. But how the fuck are we going to say that coming off a win over Song Yadong? And same thing with Umar. Okay, you beat the former 125-pound champion, Davison Figueiredo, who's like way past his prime. Like, we give a fuck. You know, start running these matchups. And then the same thing goes with the main event even. And this is a little bit of revisionist history. But why don't we have much to talk about coming out of this main event? Right? Well, because it wasn't Arman versus Paddy. It was Paddy versus Gaethje. And it's just not these solidified victories. You know, Gaethje's not somebody we're clamoring to see fight these champions, right? It's Arman and Paddy. And if Arman or Paddy would have got the victory over each other, 6-7 for all the youngins out there, we would have something to talk about, right? If Paddy beat Arman, we'd have something to talk about. If Arman beat Paddy, we would have something to talk about.
Yeah, and
but now Gaethje won.
You could tell both of those guys in the next fight, yeah.
Right. And they're beating, you know, these contenders. You know, Arman would have beat a guy who's undefeated in the UFC. Paddy would have beat a guy that nobody believed he could have beat. But now it's Gaethje in this opportunity, becoming a 2-time interim champion, and this is like his 4th title shot, his 3rd title shot. That's why nobody's really talking about it. And people are even clamoring for like Ilya versus Islam or Ilya versus Arman. They're saying like, fuck the fight. I mean, that's what I've been seeing.
Yeah.
They're like, fuck the unification bout, like Ilya versus Arman or Ilya versus Islam. Like, we don't even need to see this shit. And I don't know where I'm at with that, but that's what the streets have been saying. What up to everybody in the chat?
And just to go back on Sean O'Malley, you know what I felt like people missed out on the press conference?
Huh.
And just for all the usual suspects, what do we call the homies on the streets?
Okay, yeah, the streets. So you could just say for the streets, and they should know who we're talking to. Yeah.
The streets. You could tell that even Perry Punch and myself, we watched the press conference when Dana goes there. No one pressed Dana about how he felt the performance with the Sean O'Malley fight. I was pissed off about that. Not one guy in there asked about the Sean O'Malley fight because they're supposed to. Sean O'Malley is trying to call out Peter Yan, and after I was like, bro, come on, you really think you deserve that fight?
It's crazy.
It's crazy, bro. And like, and I get it, you know, in your mind, in your warped mind, you think you won it, but you didn't dominate. That's for sure.
Did not.
And I went back and I heard his reasoning of why he went and why he thought he won all 3 rounds. I was like, okay, I'll give you some of that.
Because he didn't get hit, right? That's basically what he said.
He said he played the counter game, right? He knew that if he countered Yadong's punches, so if he had a low swing count, he'd have a low swing count. Like, okay, that's not dominating.
Really gaming the system there for a dub.
Right, and you're Sean O'Malley.
The knockout artist.
Right, you're trying to get the next title shot. You should be going there saying, I'm gonna knock this out.
Not squeak a win out.
Lights out. And then in the 3rd round, you did show up. In the 3rd round, you showed us Sean O'Malley. What we need that 1, 2, and 3.
And you're getting taken down by Song in the 1st and 2nd rounds. I mean, bro. Have you not made? I mean, I thought you fucking made all these adjustments for Merab in the 2nd fight, and you're still getting taken down by Song.
And how is he allowed to go promote Prize Picks and Michael Johnson can't go promote this other thing that has less money than Sean O'Malley?
Oh, I don't even know about that. I don't even know.
No, go to Sean O'Malley, bro. He does it almost every day. Promotes Prize Picks.
Yeah, I think all the fighters are maybe allowed to do that. They just can't bet on it or something. I don't know. But yeah, there's a whole issue with that.
Michael Johnson wasn't betting on it.
No.
He was promoting something, and they probably gave him money to promote it.
Yeah.
So let's make another hard line in the sand. If that's the case, and that's the case for everybody.
I feel you. No, okay, so you think that's why they canceled the fight because Michael did that promotional video?
Well, I mean, that's probably one. And the lines were moving.
The lines were moving, yeah. I don't know what happened there. I actually reached out to Michael for an interview.
Yeah, that him going online and doing all that, I think that was one of the and then the line moving was another. So, but anyway, I got a little bit off topic talking about Sean O'Malley. I just think that Sean O'Malley, bro, he cannot. I would love to know how. See, I would have loved to know that day how Dana felt, and no one asked.
Because they're almost like, they're not thinking for themselves, and that's what pisses me off a lot about MMA media. They don't think for themselves. They just hear the headline, and then they start echoing what other fighters want. It's like, bro, you guys need to add a little bit of parody into these press conferences. Sack up and ask a real question.
Yeah, we need to press him. And I thought that's why I go back to the Natalia Silva and Sean O'Malley. It seemed like the same fight. We watched the same fight. Natalia Silva, this is what I would tell her. Where was she at in the 1st and 2nd round?
She's twerking sideways.
Right. And I was like, so you did a great job the 3rd round. You did your job the 3rd round. But if you want to be a champion, if you wanted to get that title shot, dominate all 3 rounds.
No, I completely agree. Completely agree. And especially if you're a guy like O'Malley. Huh?
What did Valentina Shevchenko do to Weili?
Dominated the whole fight. And that was a super fight. That's a champion versus champion right there. And, you know, Weili coming up.
She was better. And she knew she was better.
Right. And Weili came up from a division, for the record, right? Valentina was the bigger fighter. Why didn't Umar do that to Figgy? Old ass, you know, former champion. No offense to him, but an old ass former champion who missed weight, and you can't even fucking do something like that to him. But Valentina's over here railrodding Weili Zhang, who's literally coming off of like vacating her belt. And nobody beat her. She vacated it.
And that's why Valentina is one of the greatest, right?
Right.
Because she did that. And that's what, if you want to be great, that's what you do. You dominate. You don't let it go to the third round, and then now I'm going to turn it on.
I feel you. Okay,
I expect more.
Yeah, so before we get into the main event, like matchups to make moving forward, I figure out, since we're on this 35-pound thing right now, and before I get into the 35-pound thing, let me add some context to the Michael Johnson comments you made.
Yeah.
If Michael Johnson got in trouble for his Prize Picks promo, that's bullshit. Okay, so just flat out period, that's bullshit. I think, you know, there must have been an injury or something like that on Alexander Hernandez's side. Right, that's what I kind of suspect it was, you know. But yeah, hopefully Michael Johnson didn't get in trouble for that. Now, 135, we're not too happy with Umar's performances. We're not too happy with Sean's performance.
Was that a decision too?
Both decisions, very boring, very like, you know, these guys were like 5 feet apart from each other for 50-60% of the fight, you know, like at huge range. So what's next, man, for 135? You know, we got Corey Sandhagen in the mix, right? We got Merab in the mix. We got Peter Yan in the mix. And we got the 2 guys who won last weekend. And shit, we also got Ayman Zahabi to make it an even number. So that could be 6 guys who need to be matched up. Let me say it again while it seems like you're pulling up the rankings. Yeah, Ayman.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was doing.
Yeah. Ayman, Corey Sandhagen, Sean O'Malley, Umar, Merab, and Peter. What do we do with these guys? What's the matchups we make? You want me to go first, or you want to?
Yeah, go first. Yeah, go first.
Oh shit, they're saying tough to hear you. Let me fix that. Sorry about that, boys. Talk again, MTK.
The streets are talking.
Yeah. Thank you guys for letting us know that. He should be better now. Thank you, Kevin. Much appreciated. And everyone else, don't hesitate. If you can't hear something, drop that shit in the chat. You should have said it earlier. But here we are. Okay, so I'll go first, kind of, and tell you what I think should happen. So I've heard, you know, through Ariel's show, apparently Corey and Ayman is already basically in the works.
Okay.
So I'm okay with that. Corey versus Ayman, run it. O'Malley versus Umar, run it. Peter versus Merab rematch or trilogy, run it.
I mean, I wouldn't. I know a lot of people said Merab doesn't deserve it, but I think he deserves it because of how many times he defended the belt. I think when you defend the belt that many times, you should get another crack at it.
I'll give him up to 12 months to get that immediate rematch. That's how much I respect Merab.
Yeah, and I think that at the time, I think going into that 3rd and 4th is when you started to say, ooh, Petra is winning this. It wasn't like the first 2 rounds. You're like, oh, you know, Petra is dominating Merab. Wasn't good. It was those championship rounds, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th, where everybody's like, wow, Petra is really, actually, he's beating Merab. So I think that conversation puts Merab in a position to say, hey, I defended my belt multiple times. I should get the rematch. And I would watch, and I think you're right. Those other guys don't deserve it yet. Not with those performances.
No.
If Sean would have got a knockout, we both would have been like, all right, dog, let's run it. Let's run it. The boy's back.
Right.
White House, run it.
I feel you. Okay.
It'd be embarrassing now. Like,
yeah,
I guess give it to Sean.
I mean, you know, even though he got the win, it's, you know, it's not a very, we can't brag about it. You know, it's not something to write home about. It's just a win.
Bro, I honestly thought he lost.
Yeah.
He's not gonna hit his hand raised. I was like, all right.
I'm gonna rewatch the fight, and like I said, I was trying to rewatch the fight before I spoke about it more because I really because I didn't think that it was like this dominant performance by Sean when I watched it in real
No,
time. But I was
not at
calling the
all.
fights with Joaquin, so like I just wasn't as
What
focused
did
as I
Joaquin
probably should have
think?
been. We kind of just blew past it, because the third round, the problem was that the third round, Song Yudong, he looked beat. And so what I told Joaquin in live time was like the showmanship. When a fighter really
Body
looks,
language.
yeah, body language. When a fighter really looks defeated, these judges don't know what they're looking at. We've already been through that. So if a fighter just looks defeated, these judges are like, "Oh, easy money. He lost." Because they don't really know what they're watching. And, every fighter out there needs to be careful with that body language.
I was gonna look up the stats.
Okay.
Let's see what the stats were for that fight. Let's see here. So Sean had 67 total strikes. Yudong had 68.
67 to 68.
Yeah, and then 3 takedowns for Yudong. And I agree, he didn't like hold him down and dominate him, but you still got taken down. Significant strikes were 40 to 36. Sean O'Malley.
40 to 36, Sean. So Sean outstruck him by 4 and 1. And Song Yudong got 3 takedowns on him to 0.
Yep.
The only problem is
decision.
Yeah, unanimous is kind of crazy, but the only problem is that Song wasn't able to inflict enough damage, bro. And that's something Song got to work on.
And here was my thing. I thought the first 2 rounds, I thought Yudong's punches were harder. Like they seemed more impactful.
That means something.
That's what I thought. But after the fight, you kind of was like, all right, it was a low input those first 2 rounds. There's not a lot of activity. But I felt like those 10 punches in the first round, 5 of them seemed harder than Sean's things. That's where and then he got the takedown. I was like, all right, so maybe you got that first. And then I thought the same thing in the second. His punches seemed harder. And then I thought in the third, Sean just he turned it up a gear. He turned on another level. He did. I thought he really beat Yudong in that third. So
Song also kind of just gave it up in the third, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and if I was Yudong, it's like, bro, I gotta win this.
Yeah.
I gotta win this. You couldn't ride by the fact that maybe you're up 2. You had to go in there thinking it was 1-0, 1-1.
The one thing I would also add to your point, because you're saying how, Sean wasn't landing a bunch of hard shots. Before we even spoke today, my thought about how Sean performed against Song, if I could like describe it in like a phrase, death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah.
It wasn't this very, it was death by 1,000 cuts. The first 50 Song barely felt, but after a while, right, he started to feel these shots landing on him. But they weren't, they weren't these round stealing shots. And honestly, Song, the one thing I would criticize for Song is you deploy more ground and pound off the takedowns, you would have won the fight easily.
Yeah.
But you didn't didn't have any ground and pound off the takedowns.
And here's something I'll go for Sean. If it was a 5-rounder, I could see Sean going into that 4th and 5th and dinging him up even more. And we would have come out of that 5th round like, ooh, Sean dominated.
Right.
Like he had a slow start. Maybe there's something to be said having 5-rounder fights and going into 3, because you have to have 2 different strategies, right? The 5-rounders, you gotta kind of, you can start slow, but you gotta end strong. The 3-rounders, you gotta.
It's like pedal to the metal the whole fight.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe that's the only one thing I'll give him.
Okay. All right. And then with because I did make a suggestion about, Corey versus Ayman is kind of already in the works, so we might as well put Sean versus Umar. Or, a lot of people have been clamoring for that Sean versus Corey fight for a long, long time.
I would watch that too.
Which one would you rather see? Just if you could pick, your favorite fights to see.
I would put Corey versus Sean because I think it would be more exciting.
Okay, and then Umar versus like an Ayman.
Yeah, I would like that too because I kind of already know what I'm gonna get if Sean and Umar fight. Sean's gonna just be beaten up he's gonna be taken down.
Okay, I got you. That makes sense.
Let's even look at the stats for the Umar versus Figueroa.
Yeah, pull him up. Pull him up. Let's hear it. Tyler Betts is saying, I think Merab's willing to sit out for a chance at O'Malley again if UFC pays him to sit.
That was, you know, I would say this too. I actually thought Umar was going to try to take Figueroa down more, but it was 103 strikes versus 29.
Damn. So Umar clearly outlanded him by a lot.
34 significant strikes to 8.
Mm.
And I actually respected that Umar had a little bit more. He wasn't just doing, you know, just trying to take you down and have like a super boring fight.
Mm-hmm.
So
he had a higher output.
Yeah, I would say, but if you were to put Sean and Umar's going to do what? He's going to take him down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's his bread and butter.
It's his bread and butter.
If we see Corey versus Sean, they'll stand up and we'll see a fight.
Yeah. But, you know, but this is where I'm even getting to is like, yeah, that, you know, if you don't know this, because I think even I like informed Joaquin about this on the fight night, but the truth is like, yes, Umar, he is a very good wrestler because he is a part of Khabib's camp, but he's not as strong of a wrestler as Khabib and Islam because Umar and his brother, their base is Muay Thai. They almost started training with Khabib to kind of round out that wrestling, but they were sent to Thailand to train Muay Thai. Him and his brother Usman, the one we covered at the Bellator event.
Oh, okay.
So they are more primarily strikers, but that doesn't mean they're not good at wrestling. But also that goes to show, bro, Sean shouldn't even be getting taken down by Umar. If he wants to be a real champion, he really shouldn't even be getting taken down by Umar.
Yeah.
You know, or he should be able to grapple with him because Umar started in striking just like Sean did. So how the fuck is Umar a better grappler than you?
Right.
So, you know, even with Sean, it's like, bro, fix these fucking holes, bro. You shouldn't have been taken down by Song Yadong.
No, he's been exposed. He's already been exposed, man. We're never gonna. It's like Sean Strickland. We're gonna see the same. We know what we're gonna get at Sean Strickland.
I'm gonna just bring up a random ass point. You think it's a mental midget type thing with O'Malley, where like he's doing more damage than good for himself being at 135, meaning like he's so fucking scrawny and skinny. Like, why not add muscle, bulk up your frame, move up to 45, and actually have some gas in the tank? You're big for 35. You'd be perfectly sized for 45. You're getting taken down by guys like Song and Umar. Maybe you're lacking muscle or something.
Yeah, but then you lose quickness.
You lose a little bit of quickness.
So
I'm just saying, you know, maybe the guy's got to consider moving up because there's something up with Sean. Like, you know, you just said it. He's been exposed, and I don't like hearing that. I don't like hearing that.
I hate to say it, but there's a funny episode on Always Sunny. He peaked.
He peaked.
He peaked. Like, we know what we're gonna get, right?
Yeah.
You know what
we've seen the best of his days, unfortunately, haven't we?
Well, we've seen the best of what he can do.
That's why I'm almost calling for a move up.
And it's not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Your best is not good enough to be at that ultimate level.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, we've already ran these experiments with you. We gave you the Merab rematch, right? We thought you could have done it. Not that I thought he could have beat Merab in the rematch, but, you know, the UFC might have thought that. We gave you Song Yadong, right? An easy fight. Not an easy fight,
dude, they
but
had
a
to have thought
favorable
he's going to
matchup.
knock him out. They had to have thought he's going to get knocked out.
Come on, bro. Of course they did. It
Easy
was a
money.
favorable matchup.
Easy
and he
money.
fucking doesn't even deliver here. It's just like, bro, you need to switch something up because the UFC's doing all they can for you, giving you immediate rematches, giving you Cheeto in your first title defense.
Now let's flip the script. What did Waldo do?
Starting from when? Just this weekend's card?
Yeah.
I mean, he went out there and he got the finish.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
They knew, hey, we're going to get these two guys in there. You know, and at first I even thought, oh, can Waldo get it? But he got it.
Mm-hmm.
He got it. He did his job. He made it say, hey, and he called out the right person, the person right in front of him.
Curtis motherfucking Blades.
Put me in, coach.
Hey, let me say this on air for everybody to hear. Waldo Cortez Acosta says he wants Curtis Blades in Mexico. He gets Curtis Blades in Mexico. All right, you give it to him. Whatever that man asked for, he gets that shit. 5 fights in 2025 and appearing on the first card of 2026, calling out his next opponent.
And getting the KO.
And getting another knockout.
And putting the eye patch on.
Come on, bro. Come on now. Josh
He's
Hockett.
Cooking. He's cooking.
He's cooking. And Josh Hockett, you know, desperately calling him out, calling him a deadbeat father. I was already on air saying, like, yo, he's not a deadbeat father. He lives with all of his kids in an apartment in Miami with his wife. That's why he's so active, because he's got all these kids and he's got his wife and they're in an apartment. He's trying to get that bread so they can move into a house and live a more decent life. He's also just trying to pay for these kids. Josh Hockett on his post-fight interview, he's like, you a deadbeat father. Let's fight. Yeah. It's like, homie.
Way too soon.
Waldo Cortez Acosta coming off his 6th win inside 12 months, pretty much. You got work to do. Ranked fighters, over title contenders.
You got 2 years worth of work to do.
You got work to do, homies. Take a step back.
Hey, he got one angle down, right? He got that angle you like.
Yeah, he's got the talking.
Right. We got the showmanship. We like that. Now you just got to go and keep getting the dubs
and
keep having that mouthpiece
and get better call outs. But why I brought up Hockett is because Hockett today, he essentially said, like, okay, I was wrong. Waldo Cortez isn't a deadbeat father. So I'm happy he cleared that up, because Waldo ain't a deadbeat father. The reason why Hockett said that is because it rhymed with his fucking poem.
Right.
So I don't know if people realize that in real time, but he was just finding words that rhymed, and Waldo caught a diss.
Just, I had two talking points for you today.
Beautiful. Let's hear him.
You didn't ask.
No.
But I brought him.
Let's hear it. What you got?
For the streets. What's up with D-Rod? I'm hearing a lot of different. We got to get that. I need you to get some juice on that.
People have been asking me to get some juice. I don't know where to get the juice.
I didn't realize. Bro, he's been silent.
They think he's locked up in Mexico.
That's what they're saying. So there's one. The second one is I watched the movie with The Rock about Mark Kerr. Great movie. Great movie.
Where'd you watch it on?
HBO.
Oh, HBO. Okay. I got to stream that or something like that.
I liked it because the cinematography on it was really put together.
HBO is known for that shit, though.
Well, no, it was the director. Whoever did the movie, they shot it in this like old school 80s way of like behind the scenes almost. It was a different shooting style. I didn't go to school for cinematography, so I couldn't name it, but if someone in the chat could probably say the style that they did it, and then the story behind it. And Ryan Bader, is it Ryan Bader?
Yeah.
He played Mark Coleman. He did a really good job. And then at the end, they had Mark Kerr come in there, and he kind of made a cameo. So The Rock did a really good job. They did the Pride stuff. I really enjoyed that movie. Made me tear up a little bit.
Damn, all right. I'm going to check it out.
Homie was over here crying and shit.
I'm going to check that out. I didn't even see it, but I just looked it up, and what you're talking about, I guess it's an A24 film. So directed by Benny Safdie. So I guess A24 is that film style you're talking about.
Yeah. The only one thing I would say to the director and the people that put the score together, the music, we could have had less music. Sometimes the people overdo it with music.
Yeah.
This is one of those like, okay, get out a little bit less.
Okay, for sure.
Now my respect for Mark Kerr is like, oof.
I'm gonna check that movie out. I can't believe Ryan Bader never got any shouts. The Rock got all the attention for being in the movie, but
the whole time I never even thought about Ryan Bader. I thought he was just like, exactly. And he did a really good job about playing Mark Coleman. He really did.
Okay, shout out to Bader.
Because we would be like, him as an actor, nah. He did a good job.
He did a pretty good job. So what's the story with Mark Kerr? He's like an 80cc champion and stuff, and he came from Pride? Or what was the story?
So basically, like, just a few takeaways was that it was so cool what they showed. Like, he had a very, like, calm manner to himself. Hey, guys, how's it going? Like, very respectful. But he had some demons inside of him. And so a reporter in Pride asked him, he goes, well, what if you lose this fight? He goes, no, I could never think like that. I don't even know what that would feel like. The thought doesn't even enter my mind. Like, he couldn't answer what would happen if you lose. Like, the thought didn't even comprehend. I thought that was super cool.
Yeah, I love that.
I was like, to have that mindset, like it was just so dumb. I'm like, nah, I don't know how that would happen.
Yeah. He's
So I don't
sure of
know.
himself and he's soft spoken. That's kind of crazy.
Right. And so then they in that fight, there was an illegal head blow. They were going over like how the illegal stuff would go.
Hmm.
And it happened to him and he lost the fight. And he was like, whoa, was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You guys said that this was illegal, blah, 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 blah. But that loss like really ate at him.
Mm.
Because it was on the record, but it wasn't on the record. But he did come back home with the loss. And he was going to doctors and he was really trying to play the system and be like, well, man, can you just get me, to help me with the pain? Like I need a narcotic. And he was becoming addicted to it, dude. Like he was shooting up.
Mm.
And he was just like that's how much he was shooting up. And that he got into a point where I think it was his wife, she was super toxic, bro. Like she called Mark Coleman and said like he's in a hospital, he couldn't wake up, I didn't know what to do with him, like he almost lost his life. And then Mark Coleman goes in the hospital scene, is like, dude, like they were kind of chopping it up, and he was all like, okay, dude, but what happened? He started crying, and like I was like, oh, addiction.
Mm-hmm. Damn. Classic addiction story too. People just getting injured, right? The hospital prescribing you some opioids and you getting straight addicted to it. That happens all the time when people have surgeries. They get addicted to the oxy that gets prescribed to them.
Yeah, and there was a scene too where his girl was about to kill herself because of an argument they got in together. And dude, she was super toxic, bro. Like, did not make her look well in the movie. But then he had to deal with her trying to kill himself. Like, oh, who needs that?
Yeah.
Before your big fight.
Did he end up losing it too? Or did he win it?
Yeah, I think he lost that one too.
Okay.
I think he lost that one.
It makes sense if you're dealing with a suicidal wife manipulating you with that shit.
Oh, bro, it was fuck. I was like, bro, I was like the whole time, like, bro, get out of that relationship, please.
Yeah.
Please. I guess they ended up getting married.
Oh, they did? So it kind of worked out in the long run?
I guess. I mean, who knows? Who knows how the rest of that went out? We just saw that one little. Well, I'm sure that type of drama don't go away, bro.
Yeah, I don't know if they're still together, but if they are, shit, congratulations.
That's what happened. She went to rehab, and then when he gets out of rehab, she goes out with her homegirl, and she gets faded, and he comes home, and she's all hungover. It's like, dude, I don't need that around me right now.
I see. You definitely don't need that. And for fighters, that's why I think fighters, like, they kind of wife up, because fighters can't be dealing with this single lifestyle of just like going and getting these bitches and getting their heart broken and then rebounding. They got these fights to train for. That's already like emotionally taxing enough. The ups and downs of thinking whether or not you're going to win and lose. So I think, women for fighters is a very vital role that they play. And
a strong woman, a good woman.
And a lot of fighters need a strong, good woman for sure, because they're battling a lot.
I forgot what it was. There was a fighter. I forgot who it was, but I think they were just going through like a breakup, like right before the fight. I was like, oh, that has to be tough, bro. Has to be tough.
Right. I mean, look at Ilya is going through it right now. That's why he's
that's a good example.
Like that. Yeah.
That's a good example. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But just to finish off this card, and then we'll move into two other topics. Adam 22, right? Losing to Jason Luv and shit like that. We got to talk about that.
That was the funniest, bro.
But before we get into that, hang on. Just give it a second. I know that was too good. Control yourself though, because I want this reaction when we talk about it.
It was crazy, bro.
It was crazy. The lightweight title picture, right? I just figured I'd bring this to you. You saw it in the topics already, how I wrote it down. But I mean, Gaethje demolishes Paddy. We already pretty much discussed it. Can
we give Gene Silva a quick shout out?
Yeah. Let's give Gene Silva a quick shout out. Go ahead.
No, that's it.
Oh, that's it. Okay. Yeah, shout out. We call him the Silver Surfer now.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, he hit the Silver Surfer emote on Long Island.
Yeah, no. He I thought he turned it on a little bit slow, but he got the job done. And actually, it was a really good fight. Hey, shout out to Arnold Allen. He did not give up either. He was in that fight the whole time too. But Silva just did just a little bit more, And I like Gene Silva. Also, shout out to Alex Perez. He was on a kind of 2-fight win streak. It's unfortunate for Charles Johnson, but I didn't expect that from Alex Perez. Did not expect that.
I raised a question for Charles Johnson's loss, actually, and maybe it comes off as shady. Who knows? But My question in that loss was, do we think that Charles was looking, too much into the future, too much into the past, and not focused on the present? And what I mean by that is, his only recent loss was to a guy who popped for steroids. He's super focused on that. He's been super focused on the fact that he holds a win over Joshua Van.
Joshua Van.
And I'm just kind of wondering, like, if he was looking to, like counting his chickens too soon, overlooking Alex Perez as an opponent because he's like, if I can knock out Alex Perez, then I get that title shot. I knocked out Josh Van, instead of just being locked in the present, right? And saying, fuck, what comes after this. I'm locked in on right now. That's my only thing. And, I'll never know, but Charles, he does be basking in his previous wins and his previous fights a bit too much. He basks like heavily in them.
Maybe a little bit, but at the same time, he just got caught.
He got caught for sure. He got caught for sure.
Once you got caught, it wasn't like, got dominated for 3 rounds. He got caught. He kept on getting caught, and he couldn't recover.
Yeah.
And he just and Alex kept on. Sometimes fighters do that, and you and I say this, like, bro, you just gave him a chance to kind of recover. Get on him. Don't. You had a chance to get the KO, and now we're going to the second round, and now he's taking the fight from you. Alex Perez kept on pressing, kept on getting him, and he was landing clean too.
With that left hook, like, anytime he wanted, he could land that left hook on Charles. So, Charles, I don't know. I say that because
I was surprised they didn't move him back down. Actually, they kept him right there.
Yeah. And I just say that because Charles does seem very fixated on, like, the trajectory of his career. And I'm going to just say it. And then we can move on. But, like, Charles needs to stop being so worried about the trajectory of his career and just focus on getting these wins. I think that Charles, he has this mindset where, like, he thinks the company or the machine's against him. They don't give him favorable fights. And, like, he's got this whole mindset behind him. And I don't know, maybe I'm being shady, but I'm just saying, that's what I see from Charles. That's what I see from him.
I would say this: before he got ranked, his mission, his focus was just to get ranked, right? And he went on a nice little tear. And I think he fought like 4 fights in 1 year, like he was hungry, right? And then he, from that, he got that loss, and then he beat the one. He got a win, and then he got another loss. Like, now you're in the rankings, and even in this position, like, I don't think they're gonna give him. He's gonna have to go prove himself again. He's going to have to go back on a 3-fight win streak to get back in that position. Can I get in the top 10?
And this is where why I'm asking the question, because what you're saying is true. That's how I feel too. And I think Charles sees that narrative about himself and he pays too much attention. So he's been trying to fight that narrative and be like, but the guy I lost to popped for steroids, so I don't count it. And I knocked out Joshua Van, so why can't I get it if I beat Alex Perez? And in my opinion,
but then you lose Alex Perez, but then you
lost. And what was the point in even looking past him?
Yeah.
So that's kind of my opinion about Charles, is like, homie, you got to stop focusing on everything else and just focus on your upcoming fights. Like, we all see your stats, homie. You don't need to remind us that you knocked out Joshua Van once a week. We don't need to be reminded. We know what you did. But at the same time, you got work to do, and you're not the top 5 contender that you think you are. I'm sorry. The more I talk about Charles, the more I'm disrespectful I feel like I'm getting, but I'm keeping it honest. I'm keeping it a buck. And I really think Charles would benefit from stop acting like a top 5 contender. Stop acting like you are the spokesperson for the flyweight division. No one asked you to do that. Just fight, bro. And honestly, focus on how you can put yourself in a position to where the UFC wants to make you their champion, which is what Arman Sarukian has been doing ever since the Dan Hooker win, right? Now, Arman is in a position where it's like, okay, this guy could be our champion. You know what I mean? He's pretty popular. He gets the game. There's a lot of storylines with this guy.
He's been growing on me.
He's been growing on me too. I can't lie about it. That's what Charles Johnson needs to start doing. Stop being the voice and the spokesman for 125. Stop trying to argue against the narratives of why you don't deserve a title shot, and just try to become a fighter that the UFC wants to put in a position to fight for the title and be there champion, because you can win the fights, right? You can win the fights, but that doesn't mean the UFC wants to put you in that position to be their champion. And we all know this ain't just a meritocracy, right? This ain't just like number one fights number two. If you have star qualities, you will be leapfrogging other fighters who are ranked above you.
And what he did when he did all that was that he fought a lot. He fought a lot, but in those fights he won.
And he was
so
active.
That put him. He was very active, very active.
And he needs to go back to that. He thinks he's
above
that now.
Here's my thing. Father time. That's my thing.
How old is he?
Like 35.
Oh, damn. So that makes sense why he's like in a rush.
Yeah, that window is like just closing so fast, you know, and on that, I think when he went on that 4-fight win streak and he fought 4 times in a year, he knew this was like this, he had this window, you know, because if we're talking about, you know, 2 years from now, 37, he's trying to get in the top 5. That's going to be a tough conversation. And then now you just had this loss, like, oof. It's a tough game, bro. It's a tough sport.
It's a tough game. What I would say to his age and all that stuff, because it makes a little bit more sense to me now why he's so like vocal about like his position in the division all the time, because he's old and he knows he doesn't have that much time left. But Charles, it's not about you. You know what I mean? You would do better if you could flip the script and say, it's about the UFC. How can I bring value to the UFC?
But here's the other thing too. Like, you're saying it as a diehard guy that likes MMA, right?
Correct.
The average person doesn't even know guys past the top 2, 3. So on the consumer level, I mean, there's a lot of work. I mean, he's gonna just have to grind it out this year.
Yeah, you're also kind of like making my point for me. You're almost taking it a step further and being like, you know, what I'm saying is what I'm saying, but you're like, but listen, nobody even knows homie outside of like hardcore fans.
They don't. Like, Armin's a good example of what you just said. Like, the average guy that just watched Paramount Plus, that never watched really UFC, like, oh babe, we already got Paramount for the kids. I'm gonna go watch this in the bedroom. Well, now they can go on Monday, like, oh man, do you guys watch Justin and Paddy? You know, they're like, oh, Armin, who's that? Oh, look at this funny skit he just did. Is he trying to fuck Nina? You know, they're seeing all these little skits now. You know what I mean? Because now of social media, you can kind of follow that train of what those fighters were doing. And then you realize how good he really is. That's a whole nother layer.
Right. So I mean, okay, that's enough about Charles. I know I've been dissing his ass, so we'll leave him alone. The lightweight title picture, though, I'm just curious about your thoughts on that. Like, are you on board with this Ilya Gaethje fight? Would you rather see something else?
They don't really have a choice, do they?
I think it's gonna be Ilya Gaethje, man. Personally,
I mean,
whether fans want it or not.
Yeah, he's the interim. And so let's play it out. He gets knocked out because we know he's gonna he'll give you your money's worth. He'll fight and swing. Or he upsets the world, right? And finally gets his belt and he can go out in the sunset. I don't mind that either, you know. But if Ilya, most likely we win Armin Ilya.
Okay.
Because Paddy lost his chance. Paddy had a chance.
Yeah, I think that's the best move, honestly. I know that the fans, they're not really too into it, but I think Gaethje versus Ilya is the fight to make. Arman, should he fight again? Should he not? Or should he just wait?
In my eyes, yes. I'd love to see him again. You know, he seems very tactical.
Yeah, he thinks that, like, but if I got to fight again, I'm going to move down to 145 and take that title there.
Yeah, I saw him say that. Yeah. And I don't know if Dana would like that.
Well, it's a huge, colorful conversation because whether or not even Dana likes it, I'll just present to you the arguments. Arman wants to move down if he's got to fight again to collect a title there because he just wants to fight for a belt already. He thinks that he's a big enough star to leapfrog Lerone and Movsar, who are already, stuck in line. Any opinion?
I think that he's already in the bad graces of Dana White in the UFC. That just puts it. Dana don't like that, does he?
No, moving down and stuff. He likes the fighters to stay in the same weight class.
Right. He doesn't want, because then you're like, okay, now what? You know, now could he win? Man, very likable, very likely.
Mm-hmm.
He's at the right time, right age, right skill. These newer guys, they bring a lot more to the table, you know. But I think he needs one more fight. I really do. He just beat Dan Hooker, right?
Should he fight BSD if BSD beats Hooker this weekend?
That's not a bad matchup.
Or should he
But
fight the
BSD,
winner
so like
of Max
BSD,
Charles?
and he already beat Charles.
He did.
See, the whole lightweight division is not. There's like this old crew in there with a couple new guys. It's not like the welterweight division where they're just killer after killer after killer.
And we got an old guy as the interim champion right now when like Arman should definitely be that.
Right. I mean, Justin messed up UFC's whole plans.
He did.
They had it all drawn out. They had it all drawn out. Like, damn it, Justin. Mm-hmm. You know what? That's why I think Dana was so bad that Paddy didn't try to take him down. Like, what was Paddy doing after getting hit so many times? Like, you had no other plan?
Mm-hmm.
You were going to try to submit him at all that whole fight? Did you think you were going to go in there and get a knockout?
Here's what I think should kind of happen with the lightweight title picture. I'll say Arman fight again. Who should he fight in my ideal world? BSD or the winner of Max versus Oliveira? He should fight BSD if BSD beats Hooker. I think Islam should fight Michael Morales next. Enough with the bullshit. I'm done with it. No Usman, fucking Islam, another bullshit fight. I'm just done with the bullshit. The bullshit's not working, and I advocated. That's coming from somebody who advocated for the bullshit of, you know, what's the word?
When is Shavkat gonna fight?
I know. Well, hold on. What I was gonna say real quick is that like, this is coming from someone who advocated for Arman to get overlooked in his title opportunity. And now I'm the same person now saying like, cut the bullshit, you know, because when the fucking fight fixing doesn't work in the UFC's favor, who loses out? The fucking fans, right? Because obviously the UFC was setting up a storyline to where Paddy beats Gaethje and then Paddy fights for the title. But once that storyline got fucked over by Gaethje, who pays from that ultimately? We do.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, cut the bullshit. No Usman against Islam. Bullshit. You know? Put Islam against the next contender, Michael Morales. Or, sorry, not Michael Morales. It's Ian Gary. Ian Gary
versus
Islam next.
Who did Ian Gary just beat?
He beat Prates and he beat the former champ Bilal, coming off the loss to JDM. And he's also done everything for the UFC. He weighed in as the backup for Bilal versus JDM after he beat Prates. You know, he did take on. He accepted the Joaquin Buckley fight.
Then he beat Bilal. That's right. Yeah. That's right.
But remember too, he's been a company man. He accepted the Joaquin Buckley fight. Then they moved him off of it, put him up against Shavkat, and he accepted that too. So Ian deserves it because he's on a 2-fight win streak and he's been doing everything the UFC's asked him to do. Everything.
Yeah, we gotta be. We're right around the corner from hearing some welterweight news because we haven't heard any new welterweight news.
Yeah, so let's put, you know,
we got like 10 guys just. We gotta do
I know. Something. Joaquin is just like chomping at the bit to get a fight going.
Who does he want? Shavkat?
We just did an interview last Friday. I'm gonna spoil it for everybody watching. You guys get the exclusive. He wants to fight Yaroslav Amosov.
Who's that? Oh, the newer guy.
The guy who just beat Neil Magny.
All right, I respect that. That's surprising.
Mm-hmm.
That's surprising. I don't think he's even ranked yet.
But Joaquin could fight 4 guys. Aside from Yaroslav, I think Yaroslav might have slid into 15 after beating Magny.
No, he's not there yet, but Daniel Rodriguez is right there. But did D-Rod might be about that?
But Joaquin also wants to fight like a Bilal, a Sean Brady, or a Shavkat.
Like the Sean Brady fight. Yeah,
there's so
many. There's so many things. See, it's crazy that conversation just like you just go rampant with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We got to hear some Shavkat news. We have to.
And who's he going to return against? Michael Morales? Why not Joaquin? He already called him Black Boy. The fight is already sold. Like, why the fuck will we overlook that? Undefeated versus undefeated. I mean, I guess that's cool too.
But I hate to say this, but Dana and them and the White House thing. This White House thing throws a wrench in everything, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It just does. We got to find an American fighter to find this, to build it up. Like, there's so, you know, everything about America.
You know, like solitaire.
What?
You know the game Solitaire?
Yeah.
And like there's two options. You could do the single card draw or like the four card draw type thing.
Right.
But like only certain things fit into certain boxes, and it gets to a point in Solitaire where you got to restart the game.
Right.
I feel like that's what you're almost like painting a picture of right now. Like the UFC's got this Solitaire going on right now, and there's these boxes they're trying to put things in, but honestly, it's not going to really work. I mean, they'll probably make it work, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, they will make it work because they're getting pinned in a corner, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so we got John Jones, we could sell him. We got Kayla, she'll be coming back. We could sell her.
We got no Russians to put on the card because they don't want to do it.
Sean O'Malley,
Mm-hmm.
I guess. I'm putting air quotes. Joshua Van isn't a star yet. Lightweight division doesn't have American fighter.
Gaethje.
Featherweight. Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. But even when you sell that, I guess you could sell it. Even Justin says, like, you know, I really don't have a mouthpiece like that.
I know.
You know, so the welterweight, it's up to Kamaru Usman.
I know.
It's the only guy they could put in there to sell America.
So we'll see. But I guess Islam, you know, and Habib, they're like emphatically against fighting at the White House for whatever reason. Probably their own national pride or something like that.
Probably. Probably because they don't want to feed into the bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people outside looking in about what's going on in the United States are like, bro, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. It's like if Trump's
it's a whole
not
different temperature.
Well, because it's, you know, not to get super political, but obviously Trump and, you know, Netanyahu in Israel, they're an alliance. And then obviously Islam and Habib, they're in alliance with their enemy, which is Gaza. Mm-hmm. So it's like two different parties. Of course, they don't want to go and support the White House shit when the White House is funding the people who are like bombing. You feel me? Their people.
Yeah.
So, okay, I guess we figured it out then, you know, or maybe we didn't figure it out, to be honest with you. Maybe
it's gonna be Justin Ilya. It's gonna be.
There's
Justin
a lot of moving parts. Justin Ilya. I'll say Islam Ian.
And here's the thing too. You know, a lot of people want to give Ilya shit for, you know, knocking out these guys that are kind of past their prime. It is what it is at this point. Mm-hmm. You still, we can see that Justin can take a punch, can throw a punch. So let's get our money's worth.
Yeah.
Let's see a knockout. I'm always here for a knockout.
We'll get our money's worth with Ilya and Justin for sure. We will. And Justin's a really good striker. You know, Justin is a pretty good striker. So I'm intrigued to see it. I'm not super against it like everybody else, but what I would like to see is no more bullshit moving forward because I'm done with it. Gaethje versus Ilya is like the last fucking bullshit fight I want to see. You know, it's just the last one. I want to see some meritocracy. I want to see, you know, even like with the main event on Paramount last weekend, it's like we got two guys in the championship main event who have never been a champion. And we're supposed to, like, that fight is nothing more than a pay-per-view main card bout. Like, that could be a pay-per-view main card opener. It could be a co-main. But as a main, I just felt a lack of, like, aura watching it.
But they had no choice.
They had no choice. But because they keep doing bullshit. They keep doing bullshit. Cut the bullshit.
All right.
Cut the bullshit and it'll all end. You know what I mean? So, we've already been going for about an hour. You got like maybe 30 minutes left, or how much time you got?
I got like 20.
20. Okay. Let's try to wrap up in 20 minutes then. Moving on, you know, we've talked about UFC 324 for a whole hour. So whatever we didn't cover, you know, fuck it. Shout out to everybody watching right now. Adam 22 losing to Jason Luv, man. I mean, he let him crack his wife, then he got knocked out by his ass. I mean, Adam 0-2 against Jason Luv.
Bro, it was the most pitiful fight I've ever seen in my life.
Everyone's saying he big for no reason. He's such a puss. And he is. He's big for no reason, and he's a mega puss, Adam 22.
He looked like,
bro, besides that, Adam's like this. Adam was running away.
I don't even know the other guy. I don't know if that was like a knockout. He just like he fell.
It's a TKO. Adam just can't take a fucking hit to save for his life.
And the hit wasn't like it was a clean dink.
No,
it was so, bro. It was like the sloppy seconds that the homie got after he got his girl pop. He got sloppy seconds twice.
That's crazy work. That's crazy work.
What's crazy work. And then he's proud though.
Mm-hmm.
They're proud.
Did you see the video he posted on his Instagram? You probably didn't.
I believe so.
Where him and Lena are like kissing a poster of Jason Luv.
Yeah.
He's like, bro, it's like, dude, you're disgusting.
It's the most shameful, disgusting thing to sell yourself like online for whatever views. Like it's
a straight humiliation ritual.
I hope you clip this. And for all the rappers that go and suck, can't wait to get on his platform. This is the dude that you're backing. Crazy. It's crazy work.
Damn.
Just for the views. It's crazy work.
You gotta someone else they can go on. Should they go to Sean Cotton or Vlad now or something?
Anybody
but Adam.
Anybody, but I mean, it's I don't know how you could respect the man. I just don't.
What is your I'm actually really genuinely curious to know. What was that turning point for you with Adam where you weren't too into him anymore? Was it the whole cucking thing or like?
I never was into him.
Oh, so from the jump, from the first time he popped up on your timeline, you're like, fuck this guy.
Because that expression of culture vulture, you're taking the culture and you're trying to play Jerry Springer to get views and to get clout and to build your brand. When you not really could care less about the culture. You're not trying to help our people that are getting incarcerated, that are joining gangs and trying to help them to realize what's really going on. No, you're making it worse.
Okay.
That's what upsets me. You're making it worse. You're not making it better.
He's flaming the fire.
He is flaming the fire. And he could have like, oh, well, you're a blood, and why do you do that? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, you're a crib, blah, blah, blah. Bro, like, you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. And then you want to sit back and be like, oh, I'm just an interview guy. I don't know.
But he's platforming all these messy people.
And then that time too, when everybody kind of jumped off and when did community.
Figmunity.
Yes. And then you had that KK guy. That's what I'm telling you. Like he's selling his soul just to go get views. And then you're having some dudes, train your girl. Like I guess, bro, to each his own, right? To each his own. Like if that's your thing and you don't care, hey, more power to you. But it just, I don't know how he has so much respect in the game when you're so comical. Like who really has respect for him?
That's what happens, man. When that's what I've noticed is, to give it like a devil's advocate, maybe it's like people will talk shit on you, right? In the game, so to speak, for what you do. But those are the same people who will almost be willing to go on your platform as long as you bring them enough numbers. Sure. Like the same thing kind of does happen with MMA Guru in the space. I mean, he's trashed a lot of the fighters in a different aspect, right? But Guru's been very vocal about certain fighters. Not that I don't think it's a bad thing, but
that's a great analogy.
Right.
That's a great
analogy. The same fighters who go like, fuck this guy, who is he to talk about us this way? The second he started getting numbers, now the UFC fighters don't ever question anything. They laugh about him. They think he's cool. They suck him off. They want to do collabs with him, but it's because he brings a certain amount of numbers. So it's this weird thing with the game where like a lot of the people who are involved in it, right? I'm talking like UFC fighters or rappers. They don't care how you got them the numbers, as long as you can bring them numbers. They're willing to overlook a lot.
Well, the currency is the views.
The currency is the views.
Not the respect, not the principle, not the values. That it's fell off. So as long, it doesn't matter what you did to get to that point, to get the views, if you could still promise me that same thing to help me get more notoriety, more exposure, it seems like we'll just go and do business with anybody. Because and in the gang world, that's what's so like perplexing to me. They come from a world of respect and disrespect. If you disrespect somebody, it's uh, you know it's
It's a
full
DP.
tilt. Yeah, full tilt, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in this instance, this dude like disrespect and all the things the streets don't respect. You're saying it's okay now.
Because he brings
So
you
that's
views.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Because in the real world, in the streets, they would look at that person like a clown.
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, it's a stepping, bro. Who are you?
Yeah, I wonder.
Imagine some white boy just pulls up in the hood. They'd be like, dog, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm. I kind of wonder how Adam got all of his like followers in the first place. Like, what was that? I guess it was the XXX Tentacion interview that like really
There was
set him
that.
off.
I think the Little Wayne interview too. There was a few of them that really kind of
Early
put him on
on.
the map, Yeah. And then the Little Peep, he went on tour with Little Peep.
Yeah. Little Pump, I
Not a Little
think.
Peep, the Little Pump,
Yeah,
Little Pump. Yeah. But even back then, they were talking about how he was like, sleeping with this 16-year-old girl. Like, bro.
I know. I've heard it. I don't want to get too much into it because I don't know much, but I've definitely heard of those allegations. All right, so shout out to Adam, but yeah, he got his ass beat by fucking Jason Luv. Shout out to
The
Jason
thing is,
Luv.
like, he didn't get his ass beat.
He didn't
That's
get his
the
ass
thing.
beat.
You didn't even get his
Oh, this is what I
ass.
wanted to tell you, and you just reminded me. Did you know? You don't know because you didn't watch the podcast, but obviously me, I had to hear Adam's like response to it on his channel this week, so I've been listening.
Yeah.
Apparently, this is how bad it is, and it proves the point you're saying. Brand Risk explored the option of not even paying him because I guess there's in the contract, like if you just like basically do what you're saying he did, which is like get hit and just take a dive and you don't fight, then they reserve the right to not pay you your money. And so when he called them for his money, like on Sunday or something, or Saturday, because the fight took place on Friday, they were like, there's going to be a delay in sending you the wire because we're currently like reviewing your contract to see whether or not we need to send you the money because you literally quit in there. And then apparently Aiden Ross called him because he got wind of it. And he's like, look, I don't really care that you quit in there. You sold the fight and you promoted the fight and you're the main reason why everyone watched. So I'll give you your full money. But it's worth mentioning that Adam's performance was so piss poor that they explored the option of the loophole in the contract to not even pay the man because it just looked like he didn't try at all.
How long did the fight actually go?
1 minute and 13 seconds.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like it was so awkward too. It was like both of those guys just looked super awkward. It was the epitome of social media influencers fighting at the lowest level because one guy is a porn star and he fucked his wife and I'm speechless of what
it is. The
what
scummiest, most Jerry Springer-esque fight you could ever put together.
And then he didn't perform.
I know.
Limp dick. It was a super limp dick performance.
It was crazy though. You saw the walkouts with like Vlad and Lil Pump and like
bro, it's
Whack
ridiculous.
100.
It's ridiculous, bro.
I was like, damn, he got the fucking like YouTube Avengers out here right now.
Exactly. That's a great point. Yeah, that's a great point.
All the fucking personalities and shit like
the
that.
The hood YouTube Avengers.
Yeah, the hood YouTube Avengers. And then Vlad, the fucking top interviewer in the game.
Next, we're gonna be like Nina's boyfriend. Nina fucked some guy, and now Nina's boyfriend wants to fight him. And
yeah, you know what I
think? Imagine if that happened.
Like Sean O'Malley or Sean Strickland versus Nina's boyfriend.
Something like that.
Imagine. Just wait for the wrong UFC fighter to hit on Nina, and then Nina's boyfriend get a little clout chase behind him.
I hate to say it, but like, at what point does she start to become irrelevant because she's getting older?
She's 37. I didn't even know that.
There's a time shelf, bro. There. Like we just say, like, eventually, it's not cute anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, it's like, oh, this kind of like, and you see this little 22-year-old come up in the game, like, oh, who this?
Right. With women, it's even tougher.
And you're on OnlyFans? Wait, who this?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, push aside.
Right.
Dana's like, ooh, look what we found.
Because they're not tuning into Nina necessarily for her, like, her thoughts and stuff like that. For men, I think it's better because for us, we can like, as you get older, you're more mature and wise as a man. But like you're saying, with women, it's almost the opposite. We don't care about how mature and wise you are. We just like some eye
Well,
candy.
at the end of the day, sex sells. It is what it is,
Hmm.
right? At the end of the day, like I was even thinking about, you know, who one of the top UFC ring girls is Ariane Celeste.
Hmm.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, of course.
Now you're in your 40s.
She's not there anymore.
Oh hell no, bro! Plastic surgery. I mean, it's a whole. You know, she gets her own little life story now, because there's a time shelf on this. You know, and Nina's knocking on that door. This is not going to be looking so cute anymore in a couple years. Imagine her being 39 and us looking at her and like, it's kind of cringy.
Hmm. No, I agree with you. I think I'll give out some free game right now. Something I probably picked up on from this conversation is yes, the young streamers, the run and gun style, right? It's pretty popular right now. But as you get older, you do want to have more of like that Ariel Helwani type style to your content. I think it suits an older content creator more, being in a studio, inviting guests into your studio type thing versus this run and gun style. I think that's more the young game, the run and
It is
gun
a young game.
style. But as you get older into the game, you need to be more like established in your own studio, inviting guests in, prioritizing the production. It doesn't need to be so run and gun. So
Yeah,
that, I mean,
yeah.
if I can give Nina a piece of free game, if she wants to evolve into her 40s and still be relevant, she needs to be able to create a platform where she can bring fighters in. But I'm doubtful that, people will really want to sit there and watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like anything, bro. Like just like the fighters have a specific time to that that towel that you kind of just squeeze in.
Hmm.
One more fight. I'm 37, 38. One more fight. One more paycheck. So you become like the Donald Cerrones of the world, where like, oh, I can still go do it. You watch somebody get knocked out. The ring girls and these content creators that are women, there's a shelf life, and and you're getting to that point where she has to now start thinking about what's her next move, what's her next like empire that she's creating.
Hmm.
She could create her own network and hire other younger girls, or I don't know. But eventually it's not going to be as cute.
Hmm.
The Armin shit was funny to me.
Right. Yeah. Content creation is, it really is a long game at the end of the day. I mean, a lot of people do get kind of like, they get big quickly,
Well,
but there's a longer game to it that we're kind of
well,
talking about right now.
I'll give you a great look at Drewski. He's made this the living of making these really funny clips, right?
Hmm.
But look how he evolved. He's on fucking commercials now.
Hmm.
Look at Kai Kanat. Is that his name? Kanat.
Kai, yeah.
Bro, he was at the fashion show.
Hmm.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. They are evolving.
Hmm.
They were able to build their social media platforms so big that they become undeniable in other realms of society and advertisement and entertainment.
Hmm. And that's what you got to do. So
I mean, there's
that's that next
stages.
level. You can master the stage you're in, but when it's time to that next stage, you got to be ready to pivot. And you have to have set yourself up to where like your fan base actually cares about you enough to follow you when you pivot.
So like, for example, Nina, maybe she creates, I mean, I'm assuming she'll probably create a podcast after like the UFC stuff, or she'll create a cooking show, or, all those other little things that she does.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just not going to be as funny anymore.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's wrap up with UFC 325. I mean, we don't got to go too crazy into it. It's actually, if I'm keeping it a buck, bro, it's a kind of a shit card. It's kind of a shit card, yeah.
Yeah, mid.
So
there's some bangers on there. Don't get me wrong.
Pull it up for us. Pull it up. Let me pull it up myself.
You got Dan Hooker versus BSD. I'm here for that. The Roofy versus Fasib. I mean, I'll still watch it for sure. Queelan. I mean, I want to see what he does. After that, though, we get a little bit more suspect. What's the weird thing too is like usually we have a month to go right into that next big card.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
We're next week into it.
Right there. Mm-hmm. Right there. So it's like not even a time to digest 324. I'd lose a little luster because of that.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Like a lack of appreciation.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, all right. All right. And we know it's Volk versus Diego Lopes too.
Yeah.
You know,
I think we're trying
AJ
to
had,
still like digest last weekend's card. It's taken away from like we've only been
you don't
speaking
even,
about last weekend's card. We
bro,
just got into this week.
Media days today.
Yeah.
Media days today. Well, that's it's done.
We're still digesting.
It's done.
Yeah.
It's done.
We're still trying to figure out the lightweight title picture and shit like that. What's going to happen with Arman? Now we got to talk about Volk versus Lopes, which is a fight nobody asked for. You know, that's the crazy thing too, though. Like a devil's advocate to what you're saying is, you know, with back-to-back pay-per-view cards and there's still not being very much to talk about in general, it just goes to show, man, like cut the bullshit. Cut the bullshit. No one wants to talk about Gaethje beating Paddy because it just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We all know what's going to happen when Ilya fights Gaethje. You know, and this whole Volkanovski versus Diego Lopes, why doesn't anyone really want to talk about it? Because it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, we saw Volk dominate him.
The same conversation we would be having about this fight is the conversation we had when Volk fought him the first time. There's still the same contenders who aren't getting their opportunity in Movsar and Lerone.
Yeah.
You know, so like, what are we going to say? We're going to redo this whole topic again? Like, there's nothing to really say.
Oh, I know what I was going to bring up to you.
Yeah.
When I was thinking about how they build up these fights when they do these on Paramount, prior, they should be playing that UFC countdown.
Okay.
Like don't put it on YouTube right now. Wait till that hour before the prelims and play it right then and there. Get people to tune in using that countdown. Because I was thinking to myself, I love the way they built the countdown.
Mm-hmm.
I love how they kind of tell you the storylines and they go into this. I'd be so drawn in an hour before prelims, like, oh, I gotta watch the countdown. Like that's your one chance to watch it. It brings you into the whole fight.
Okay.
Telling the story. And then you could maybe even put little embeds in there as the before the next fight.
Mm-hmm. Well, if they're gonna get rid of that, if they're gonna do that as the preview to open up the show, I wouldn't be opposed to it if the byproduct of that would be that we get like face-to-faces now.
What do you mean?
So the face-to-face is like, I don't know if you ever seen it, but when DC and John Jones did the face-to-face with Joe Rogan intermediating between them.
Oh, yeah.
So I'd like to see a face-to-face to start off the week, right? So we get some type of promo, but then, whatever they want to do with the countdown. If that means we get extra promo for the week because they're taking that away from us on Sundays now, I'd be all for it. But in general, I think we should increase the promo. It needs to be looked at.
Yeah.
In general.
I would say this too. Like they said, they blew the numbers out of the water. So I hope they're not going to say, well, it worked.
They are.
I hope they're really saying
They are going to do that.
I hope that they sprinkle some stuff in there because there's a way to make it better.
I see a lot of people bragging that like Paramount got 1 million new subscribers for UFC 324.
Is that what they said?
On the day of.
That's not bad.
It's not bad, but if the subscription price is like $8.99 times 1 million, then you made like what? 8.9 million or something like that. But you still got like a lot of billions to fucking recollect on.
But
so be careful.
But here's the thing.
Oh, that is residual every month too, though.
No, but think about this.
Yeah.
And when I was watching it, that's crumbs compared to the money they're making off the revenue of the advertisement. That's what they were banking on.
I see.
Dana even said it at the press conference. They got to make money too.
Mm-hmm.
People complaining about the advertisement, like, well, hey, listen, guys, you're gonna pay 80 or you're gonna pay fucking for the advertisement.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they're making the real money.
How'd you like the pacing?
It's like watching a NFL game, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of the same thing to me. I thought they could have done some things a little bit better, and they even asked him about it too. Like, hey, the corner man didn't have the corner talk. You get what they'll do. Like you could do what YouTube does sometimes. YouTube will have an advertisement and then the corner, or during timeouts they'll do that same thing. So there's ways that they could tweak it with advertisement, But that's when people really want to talk about how they're going to make the money. That's exactly where they're going to make their money.
Yeah, the ad space that they're selling.
They could have probably made that day another 10 million.
Plus, you know, with the 1 million new subscribers, something I didn't consider until I just said it out loud and made myself look dumb probably. But with 1 million new subscribers, right? That's a month to month, right? Every month, that 1 million new subscribers, they're getting 6 million, 6 million, 6 million, 6 million every month. And let's see how many new subscribers they get this weekend. You know, maybe they get half of that, 500,000.
That's 100 million in a year.
Mm-hmm. And every pay-per-view, as it goes up, you're getting more residuals every month.
Right. And that's not including advertisement dollars, right?
No.
They probably went to the advertisement dollars in the Ram truck, for example. How much do you think Ram paid just to have that spot there?
Ram?
I mean, we could take a guess.
Probably a good amount of money.
The more they build that viewership, the more they can go to the companies like Ram, Dodge, Ford, and be like, you know, now it's going to cost you 50 million.
Yeah. Yeah.
They know what they're doing, bro.
Yeah, they're going to be negotiating it, especially for, and you know, Super Bowl, how they sell ad space because everyone's watching. I'm sure for bigger events, they're going to charge more for the ad space because more people are watching. International Fight Week cards, UFC White House cards.
White House.
They're going to be selling extra ad space for sure. And that's going to be like, because what do they rumor for Super Bowl commercials? Like $1 million for like 5 seconds.
If they put John Jones versus Alex Pereira.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let me ask you 2 things to get out of here on, and these are pretty good, so I didn't want to like overlook them. Actually, one of them was Paramount gets 1 million new subscribers. I didn't include that in the topics I sent you, but two topics, and we're gonna get out of here. We can speed run through it if you'd like to. Just give me your thoughts, no fluff. New bonuses announced for UFC 324. Let me lay this one out and get your reaction. New bonuses announced for UFC 324. So now there are, you know, 2 bonuses. New bonuses announced after 324. Here's how they work. Fight of the night, performance of the night, $100,000 bonuses. Okay. Fight of the night goes to both fighters. So that's $200,000 bonuses. Performance of the night goes to one fighter. So technically that's $300,000 bonuses they're giving out. Aside from that, there's a finish bonus, $25K flat.
Okay.
It seems like that's a bit of a step back when fighters used to be going for knockouts for $50K. Now they're going for knockouts for $25K. And only one of them is going to get $100K.
We got to up those numbers. We got to up that number. Like all of it should be $100,000 across the board.
Or at least, at least
50.
At least keep that one at 50 and increase those 3 bonuses I mentioned earlier.
Because that's what we're here for. Because that's what we're here for.
And did you see Joaquin Buckley's opinion on it or no?
Mm-mm.
So Joaquin's basically saying like, look, when we go for the knockout for that $50K, we are taking the chance at losing. We're opening ourselves up to lose the fight,
right?
Because we're saying, fuck it. You know, we want that big bag, not the 12-12 that we're making on the contract. It's worth risking a loss to do that.
Right.
And he's saying like, it's not worth it anymore to risk a loss to get $25K.
Yeah. And now that you have this $100K out there, it kind of makes $25K look like, okay.
Mm-hmm. So,
and knowing that what you just said that we had a chance to get 50 before, it doesn't make it seem so like a shiny, you know, it's not as shiny anymore.
Yeah. Or why not like, I mean, yeah, honestly, I would be fine. I don't want to get too complicated. So I think I would be fine if they just kept the finish bonus at $50K, but they upped fight of the night and performance of the night to $100K. I'd be okay with that.
I mean, I want it all at $100K, but that's just me.
I know. The problem with that would be like every finish gets $100,000. I mean, but tell me, like, that's cool with you? You think they have more than enough money to do that?
Yes.
Okay. See, sometimes I don't count the money as much. So like, you know, I'd like you to say it if you have considered that.
If they spend let's say they had a budget every fight to spend $5 million.
Mm-hmm.
That was their budget on fighter pay. That's low.
Yeah. $5 million collectively across an event, you're saying is low.
Right.
I would have to agree with that.
And if they could say, oh, we're going to throw another $100,000, what's $100,000?
Mm-hmm. Or $300,000.
Right. So let's just say they can say, okay, let's say they had 10 fights to fight. And I think John Anik said it. What they need to do too is like, we don't need the 12 fights anymore.
What do we need? 10?
Let's do 4 and 4.
8?
8. We can build up fighters later. We're not there just watching some of these low grade guys. Now you don't need to give as many fight bonuses up. Let's say all 8 fighters knocked out compared to 10 fights. You know, it's going to be more exciting because sometimes even there, I was kind of like, all right, let's get to the main card now.
You're almost saying at what cost is it worth having these 12 fight cards if there's like 4 no names on there?
Right.
Yeah, I get you.
Put those on the fight nights then.
No, I get you on that. Well, they got a lot of things to work out, but okay, what would you like to see for the bonuses? Straight 100K across the board even, or
yeah.
So you would like 100K, even the finish bonus should be up to 100K. Everybody who gets a finish, 100K.
I mean, minimum what you just said, minimum 50.
But that's my opinion, right? So tell me yours.
Well, my minimum would have to be at least, I mean, the minimum 50.
Minimum 50.
Minimum
but
50.
How much would
I'd
you
love
like
to see
it to
100.
be? Okay, you would like that a lot. I'd love to see 100.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that idea, and I'd probably, I'm not going to disagree with that. I'm not going to disagree with it.
And that's just because I'm on the fighter side. I want to see the fighters get paid.
Yeah,
because some of those guys aren't making that even the fight. Give them that reward.
So think about it like this, and I can say this. I'm happy that I'm able to say this because Joaquin admitted to it on the live stream. So Joaquin's how much he gets paid got leaked. Not leaked, but it got posted because we're in Atlanta. The commission over there, they post the fighter pay. So someone in the chat, they asked on Saturday, they're like, Joaquin, is it true that you made 120 to fight Usman? And Joaquin's like, yeah, that's true. Like, why am I going to lie about it? It got posted, right? So I was like, okay, damn, it's true. So Joaquin gets paid 120,000 contractually, 120 to show and win, right? So max 240. He lost to Usman, so he only took home 120. He only fought one time last year. He got taxed on that 120. This isn't an insult, right? But my mom literally made more than Joaquin last year.
Yeah.
Working at a hotel selling timeshares, like off commissions from that.
And you would think that, how much do you think Usman made? 500?
Probably 500 because he's a former champion.
So he got the bulk of that money. I wonder how much the UFC made off that night from ESPN. They probably made 10 million.
But there's almost no world where like Joaquin should be in the same position as my mom.
For that type of entertainment value at the highest level, you're right.
Yeah. Because
you're right.
Why do what he's doing then? Why not go get my mom's job? You don't get any brain damage and it lasts longer. My mom can work here for 20 years.
Fighters are fighters.
I know.
Fighters are fighters.
But you hear me, right? I know that the fighters are fighters.
I hear you 100%, 100%. But here's another example, bro. The kids in NCAA in college football are making more than UFC fighters. Think about that.
So what's the incentive to come over here?
I mean, it takes one of one to do it.
Are they just taking advantage of these fucking dogs of men?
I mean,
they're like, someone's gonna do it, and we're not gonna increase the pay.
Well, it just goes to show you that there's a discrepancy in pay, right? And that's why I probably ain't saying they need 100,000 for the KOs because it's minimal. It's very minimal for what they're already paying these fighters. It makes zero sense. And I don't even know how to because what they're not showing you is that here's the thing with like college football really opened my eyes. They'll say things, bro, like let's just say USC, right? I forgot, where'd you go to college at?
Long Beach.
Okay, but let's just say USC, right? Trojans. The college of just football on like advertisement. I think they said they made like, I don't know, $1 billion.
Damn, in a season. That's crazy.
That's not even basketball.
For the concessions and the food and the advertisement
on that deal they have with the CBS or an NBC or an ABC or an ESPN, the viewership, right? The advertisement dollars are so big that they got pushed to a point where they have to pay these athletes. They have to pay them. And some of these kids are getting like $5 million contracts. And which is a drop in the bucket to what they are making at another level.
Mm-hmm.
So this UFC is another example. I'm more interested to know how much are you really, okay, we know, 7.8 whatever billion it was.
Mm-hmm.
That's not including what they're getting at the gate. That's not including all the other shit. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So I don't know. This divides 7 billion divided by how many shows they're going to be running that are pay-per-views. That's 12 a year. By 7 years, I don't have ChatGPT yet, but we could do how much probably that just says you'll make off of that one fight.
No, and I think you brought up a great point because let's sound it out for people who might have gone over their heads what you just said. CBS and Paramount, they signed an exclusive broadcast rights deal. That means that when the UFC, they hold an event at T-Mobile Arena and all the money they make from that, the UFC doesn't go hand that over to Paramount. The UFC keeps all that as well.
That's a UFC gate money. That's the contract they have with the arena.
Yes, and that's the money you can also be dipping into to pay your fighters. So I mean, and twofold, right? They got the 7.7 billion, but it's not like they just have 7.7 million to spend out of a savings account for the next 6 years. No, they're still making money off the live gates, off the ticket sales, off the merchandise, off the food, everything that doesn't involve streaming rights. They're pocketing that money too. Sponsorships in the octagon, they get to have that money.
Let's just say $1 billion
on top of the 7.7 billion, right?
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, just 1 billion. Divide that by 7 years. See where you get at.
Mm-hmm. Shit. All right.
100,000 for a fight? Crazy.
Mm-hmm. So last thing I got, Nick and Nate Diaz reunited amid their beef.
Yeah, I saw a video of them at the arena, right?
Yeah, so I guess let me just say something because I know there's a lot of people who are just like so ready to just be like, I told you they're not beefing. I told you they're not beefing. You're a liar. You're a liar. How dare you? Okay, they were fucking beefing, bro. All right, I got DMs as proof. And yeah, I mean, Nick and Nate, they met up in Las Vegas. They squashed their beef like brothers would.
They're still brothers.
They're still brothers. Yeah. But I mean, the fact that Nick posted a tweet last week telling Nate, you need to stop surrounding yourself with the people you surround yourself with. It's embarrassing. And I don't know what your deal is. And then they fucking meet up with each other 2 days later and people are like completely ignoring that fact of what Nick said to him on X. I mean, they were beefing, but they made up. Just because they made up doesn't take away from the fact that they were beefing. So everybody who's like, how dare you? I saw them in Vegas this weekend. You're such a liar. Bro, they were beefing and they made up. And even if you take away what I said about it, Nick posted on his own damn Twitter and deleted it a couple hours later. He said word for word, Nate, and for my brother Nate, I don't know what his problem is, but the people you're surrounding yourself with, you need to separate from. They're embarrassing to be around. So, I mean, that's beefing right there, but they made up. So I don't know. Everyone's like on my ass about that.
I would say the story's not over. Mm-hmm. There's more to this. This isn't not the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not what I'm hearing. Not what you explained to me. Like I'm in a month from now. You're gonna be telling me, hey, but I was like, yeah, I can probably see that.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Did you happen to see that clip I posted of Nick speaking though? In that like his rehab.
You know what happens is like I'll get like 20 clips or 50 clips in my brain, and so I'm kind of like, you know what I mean, like in different aspects of different worlds. So I've seen it, but I can't like identify it.
Okay, it's we're gonna get you out of here on this one. It's this clip where Nick spoke about like how he never thought he would go back to drinking. Can you see it?
Yeah.
So this is the clip.
How much do I weigh? What am I gonna eat? After a while, you realize there's more to life.
Just listen to it.
And then, that's when I started getting into some trouble again. I bringing some old friends back in the picture, and that really fucked things up. But I cared about them though. I was like, wow, I didn't know they were fucked up. I didn't even know what that was. I was clueless. Even though I'd been around it my whole life, I didn't know, like, you know what I mean? I just didn't know anything about drugs or a little bit about alcohol, but I didn't drink alcohol my whole 20s. I drank when I was, you know what I mean, until I was 16, 17, 18. I was drinking a little bit, but when I hit like 20, I'd stop drinking. Before, you know, I would get into some bars. By the time I actually was old enough to be in a bar, I wasn't drinking. I was just too many fights. I was fighting in Japan. Too much going on. Yeah, and then when I used to drink, it would always it never ended well. I was always like getting nauseous and fucking. I wouldn't get drunk. You know what I mean? I didn't know what it was like to get like super drunk and like, you know what I mean? Like where you can't walk straight. I would always get nauseous before I would get to that point, and I was like, "Fuck, I'll see you guys later." And it would ruin my night. I'd be with some, supposed to be like trying to hook up with some girl or something like that, and then I'd end up in the bathroom instead. And it would just fucking ruin. And for hours, like, you know what I mean? Like alcohol poisoning, like off of like, drinking more than if I would drink like a 40 or something, and I would drink, if I started on a second 40, I was in for trouble. You know what I mean? It was like before I would even get drunk, I would get like I'd have a reaction. And so I stopped drinking, and I ended up holding like, these long relationships.
So things were better. Things were better without the substance.
Without drinking, yeah, I did it. I much better. I never thought I would go back to drinking. I was busy. I was fighting 3 to 5 fights.
Just raw thoughts. Raw thoughts.
No, I thought that it was very raw, like very a peek into his mindset during that time of, just building your career in MMA, right? If you're starting if you tried to party a little bit and your body wasn't reacting to it, and it was making you worse than getting drunk, and you started concentrating more on your career, that makes sense. I thought he was being honest.
Yeah, he's definitely being honest.
That's what I thought. Yeah, he's being honest.
What I got from that too is that him and I don't want to call it narcotics because it's alcohol, but him and like the alcohol and maybe other types of drugs, they don't mix with him.
Right.
He was kind of explaining like even before I would get drunk, I'd be getting these adverse reactions off like, 140. And I'd be trying to get there to be drunk, but every time I'd go for that second 40, I'm like destroyed.
Getting sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting sick.
So that's one thing I noticed is he has an adverse reaction to alcohol, which is also kind of why he stopped. Now, the main reason why I played you that is because genuinely, and by the way, everyone appreciated what you had to say last week. So I don't want to give you too much of a responsibility, right? I just want you to be yourself when you answer this, but I'm just saying everyone loved what you said last week. And I explained it to them. It's because, you have this background where you've also had to find your sobriety over time. You've tried it your own way, right? And you finally found your way, but like it took you a little bit to find it. And Nick right now, he's trying his own way. Do you think Nick has CTE or no, based off hearing that? Because he speaks very clearly. He's very introspective. He's obviously sober in that interview because it's in rehab. So that's about a year of sobriety. What I was explaining to you last week, that's what I've heard through the grapevine from, the camp, essentially, or, people close to Nick. So when I listen to that, I almost go completely against what people have been telling me about him, that he has CTE.
I think two things can be true. I think that you could still have CTE and you could have conversations and dialogue like that and look very composed and put together. I bet we could play clips of other people that have CTA and say, hey, we didn't see that initial like slurring of words or initial reaction. I need to see like other like conversations of him, right? But I mean, or just tests in general. Like, I forgot, did you say they did get tests?
Yeah, bro. But like, as I've been speaking to more people, it's like, this is where it kind of like gets foggy.
Little gray.
Because like, essentially I have everybody reaching out to me, right? To give me this information to share with Nick, but it's getting twisted as it falls down the grapevine of things. And so now I'm hearing like, Nick, there's no way to test for CTE while you're alive.
That's not true.
So
because they do it with NFL players.
So it's like, these guys are just like feeding me too much information and it's contradicting, and it's actually starting to like mess with their credibility in my eyes, and then also that's going to mess with my credibility to my audience's eyes. You know, but I'm just keeping it transparent, letting you guys know, like, I'm not making this stuff up. People keep telling me, but now I'm hearing Nick doesn't have CTE essentially.
Yeah, based off that clip, I mean, he does sound very composed, right? It does sound like, hey, you know, he's putting sentences together. It's very thoughtful, insightful, seemed honest. So I said, I think this is an ongoing story. And I'm a big like, hey, let's see where we're at in 6 months. And I think we were like that with BJ Penn. You know, I think that unfolded. It's still unfolding.
Yeah.
And if I never saw him smoking crack or whatever it was on the side of the freeway, my outlook on him would be a little bit different. But you know, to do that, I don't know what to think.
Yeah. I think that's a good way of looking at it though. Let's see where he's at, you know, even 3 months from now. 3 to 6 months.
But I'm rooting, and here's the thing, but I'm rooting for him. I want him to have this success.
Right.
I want this sobriety success. I want him to not have these demons on him of whatever he's going through. Because you have to be going through something to be doing that. You don't just do drugs and alcohol because you know you're not going through nothing. There's no sane person is just gonna like, oh, let me smoke crack today.
Yeah. No, he's got to fix whatever he's dealing with, right, from the inside first. Okay, so that's pretty much the stream. You know, if I were to end the Nick Diaz topic, let me just put it like this and say, you know, I saw the pictures of him and his brother. I saw little clips of him at UFC 324. He appears sober. That's all I can say. He appears sober. He appears to be doing well. So we're wishing Nick the best. That's all that we can really say.
Chuck looks sober. Chuck Liddell looks sober too.
So we can, there's never any way of telling, huh?
No, I'm just saying, hey, there's videos when you see Chuck at that thing, he looks like he's gacked out. So Chuck looks sober too. So I'm rooting for both of them.
Okay, for sure. So shout out to everybody in the chat. You know, we're not going to, we extended the live. We're a bit longer than usual. So I'll just read the last 3 comments. LaShawn says Nina Drama is corny. Kevin says, I got your run and gun right here in my jock, Patriot style. Not sure what we were talking about when he responded to that, but no worries. LaShawn says, hell nah, you tripping? 8 fights. Okay, so they're not liking the 8 fight thing. And then Otto says, true, brothers do beef, but they also reconcile their differences and came together like most brothers do. Yeah, so 2 things can be true. They were beefing and they made up. But just because they made up doesn't mean that they weren't beefing. Okay, let's just be very clear about that.
I got a prime example of like my own brother. Yeah. My brother would do he would do things that I couldn't see him. I couldn't talk to him. But eventually I had to see him and forgive him. Like, hey, what's up? And just was water under the bridge. And he told me, he told me, goes, that's what I was betting on. I was like, all right.
So he's like, I can do whatever I want to homie. He gonna forgive me. I'm his brother.
I mean, I'd get mad though. Yeah. I would be like, bro, man, stay out of, dude. Don't even stop by. But then eventually you see each other like, all right, bro, what's up? How you doing? You know,
your brothers. You grew up together from kids, from babies. You know.
Yeah.
There's only so mad you can get at him, to be honest with you.
Well, and it's like, yeah, I mean, you got to really, 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 really do something. You know what I mean? Like, even then, I'd be like,
it'd be hard still. Yeah. Because that's your brother at the end of the day. But all right, shout out to everybody in the stream. Thanks for watching.
Shout out to the streets.
Yeah, shout out to the streets. I'll see you guys tomorrow. But yeah, this was an episode with me and MTK. I don't know. You're gonna be back here next week, or you're not undecided?
I'm off next week.
Okay, off next week. So MTK probably be back in not next week or not this coming week, but the week following, something like that. All right, guys. Peace out.
All right, streets.
Peace out to the streets.